What's going on, world? I know it's been a long time. It took me a minute to make some decisions. So it took me a while to do some videos. A lot has happened over the last couple weeks that I really had to sit down and make some decisions on which way I was going, what I was going to do. One of the biggest things that I did as a coach, a competitor's coach back in the day, is something that I didn't receive. When I first started, competing, nobody sat me down and gave me the blueprint or gave me what to expect. Mentally, physically, financially, none of it. So one of the things that I did as a coach is I said I always wanted to be the coach that I never had. So I would always, before even somebody made a decision, I would have a meeting. And I do this with all of my programs. So you understand what you're getting yourself into. You're understanding your coach, you're understanding the program, so that you can make the best decision that's best for you. So as a competitor, one of the things I used to break down is one, of course, your mindset. Like it is a, I say this, a mind F. Like literally, you got to tap into so many levels of mindset. It's not just one, like, oh, I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna finish. Like, nah, it's levels to it. And you don't really understand it until you've been through it. So the first thing is like making sure that your coach is somebody who's been through it. So they can talk you through it. When you get to that point, they know what they can say or what to do to get through that point. So that was the first thing. Because it makes you question yourself all the way until you step on the stage, and even after you step off the stage, depending on what the results are. The second part is physically. Of course, to me, that's kind of what with everybody, the obvious, like how much work you got to put in. You working out every single day. It ain't really too much of an off day. And even when it's an off day, you're still posing, you're still, doing some form of cardio, you're still keeping your steps, even rester's recovery, so it's, that physical part of it, the sacrifice of like, you don't really get no days off. Like there's something that has to be done in order for you to prepare for your show. And one of the last things outside of like the lifestyle part of it, and I'll even say this, like it's a selfish sport. I've had individuals that I've had to say, like, you have to have, if you're with somebody, you're married, like you have to have those conversations. I've heard so much that some people have got divorces and breakups through this process because it is such a selfish sport. You have to focus on you during that time because it's about you and only you. You are the only one getting judged. So everything matters. So that part of it, like making sure that everybody knows around you and you making the sacrifices of knowing that you can't do and be everything that you need to be because of the sacrifices you're making. And then lastly, the biggest thing is the financial sacrifice. Financially, it is a lot, y'all. I wish somebody would have told me, like my first one, I remember we had to raise money because it was like, I had no idea. I spent almost 20 grand on, just competing. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. It just, as like, once I got to the end of it, I was like, dang, because you gotta look like, I don't think that people realize it. Okay, obviously your food, your supplements, but that's on a weekly basis that you have to keep up with that food. So of course you can budget that part out, but you spending $200 a week depending on what part of, I'm talking about proteins, all of that on, if you're bulking, you spend more on it but it's still a lot of money that you're spending on a weekly basis. Supplements, supplements are expensive, period. Then you talk about gym memberships, whether you're at a gym, whether you got your own gym and you got equipment, that's a cost. Other costs is your coach. I don't think that people understand. This ain't no $9.99 type of thing. Like we talking thousands of dollars for expert coaching. We're not talking about somebody that just knows how to get you to lose fat. No, we talking about somebody that knows how to get you to the point of stage ready. Where you step on stage, there's a science behind it. And it's the expert. There are experts out there. And when you get an expert, a competitive coach, you're not only paying for the off season to get you prepared for in season, like we talking thousands of dollars that are usually based off of either 12 weeks, 24, 36 weeks breakdown. that you're spending thousands of dollars. So that's why I said when you kind of do the math, it gets to 20 grand easy. So that part, posing coaching, which I'll put an asterisk, that's important, because in order for you to be in a position to show off what it is that you have, you need to know how to pose. So posing coaches are a little bit less than competitive coaching, but a lot of, now I would say, a lot of coaches don't do both. Like, you got to get a whole nother coach that's an expert in posing. Outside of that, there's little things like actually paying for the competition that you're entering in. Then there's memberships to whatever, type of organization that you're a part of or will be competing in. It's the posing suits that you have to wear. It's the makeup and the tanning leading up, like the day of. You spend a lot of money just the week of prep, like tanning, shaving, getting your hair and your nails done, all of that. So, do the math. When you start adding it up, and I'm not gonna break it down, but I think I broke it down enough for you, like financially. And over the last couple weeks, knowing the situation that I've kind of come out of, I had to ask myself the question, even though mentally I felt like I was in a great space, with me being on my own to say, you know what, this is a great time for me to do something that's for myself. I felt like my lifestyle and everything else, that I was in the right position. However, financially, I don't know if this was the right move to make. And I really had to sit down and ask myself, is it? I had to spend a lot of time with God to make sure, or to even see if this is what He wants from me. I know that a lot of times we want something really bad. However, God, it's all about His plan. When it comes to what type of alignment or what type of relationship you have. And my relationship with God is like, I'm so wanting to be and have what He wants for me versus me wanting what I want. And it's taken me a couple weeks to figure that out. And that meant that I had to, the reality is the sacrifices that I have to make for whichever way I decide to go. It's not easy. However, I'm happy to say that I'm committed to this, and I know that this is something that is very important to this season of my life. And with that being said, in order for me to continue this competitive battle, or this competition, or this journey back to the stage, there's other sacrifices I had to make. It was like, you can't do one and do the other. You can't be in this. Every season calls for a certain focus, a certain sacrifice, and you can't be doing other things while you're in this. And it was hard because I had to sacrifice some things that I probably wanted to do, some things I wanted to have, some places I wanted to go. But knowing that this is something that is meant for me in this season, those sacrifices were necessary. And I always say this, sometimes you have to allow yourself to say, just not right now. And it could be a possibility, especially where God is taking me, that it could be not ever, or it was just for that time. There's a lot of things I just had to take it in, and I had to make a decision. It's not, to be honest with you, I can't even give time to that right now because of this. So it makes all the sense in the world. I had to sit back. And I'm saying this to you all because sometimes you got to make some really hard decisions. And sometimes you just got to sit back and allow yourself to see the bigger picture. And when you realize and you start putting things, priority items in line, you realize that some things just have to wait. Some things were just for a season. or some things you don't even know, but you know that you can't give the energy that's needed at that time. I have made a lot of sacrifices up to this moment to be here, and a lot of things have come out of that. And after my conversation with God, it was like, yeah, this is the season for you for this, but there's a lot of sacrifices, there's a lot of things you're gonna have to give up in order to step on that stage. So I am happy to say I am still on this journey back to the stage. It's going to take, I'm making some huge sacrifices, and I continue to thank you for your prayer as I rock this bad boy out. I'm going to step on that stage. I'm gonna finish what I started. However, some other things have to be on hold. Some sacrifices have to be made, and I'm willing to do that because I know this time, the time is now. So with that being said, again, the journey back to the stage continues. So I love y'all. Y'all enjoy. Videos are coming back now, but I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me to make videos and even do this, not knowing if I was going to continue. And I say this, one of the hardest things is, regardless, the first thing I dealt with was what I've been dealing with over the past 2 years of what are they gonna think if I say, nah, I got past that. So whether I was going to do it or not gonna do it, I just wanted to be able to come on here with the confidence to be able to not only say it and be very true and real to myself, but not care about what you thought of me either way. So that's a work in progress. That's a growth area for me as I'm getting through this area of shame, of making mistakes and failing, and knowing that it's all a life lesson. There's always lessons learned. And as I continue to grow and evolve, I learn from those things and just get better. So thank you all once again for your support. Make sure y'all like, comment, all that good stuff. I gotta say all of that good stuff too, because it's just, that's what you're supposed to do. But y'all do that because I got new videos coming, because the journey back to the stage continues. Love y'all. Peace.